And you have gauze.
I have gauze, Vaseline-coated gauze. The first night was worse. They put a balloon up.
Whoa!
A balloon.
Whoa!
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, keep your eyes on my nose. You may see something pop out in the middle of a discussion. And we begin today with the NBA All-Star Game. Pleasant exhibition, that is only offense. Even standing in front of a player with the ball, frowned upon. Kevin Durant, who was on one of those choose-upside teams, was named the MVP after scoring 31 points. This gives him a second All-Star MVP to go with his two Finals MVP and his one overall NBA MVP. Wilbon, can you see Durant being the future face of the NBA?
Not really, Tony. I can see him being the best player in the NBA because he ain't far from that now. If you still consider LeBron one, then Kevin Durant's right there. But, Tony, the notion of joy to me, and this started with the merger, so 1976-77, Julius Erving was the face of the league instantly.
Yeah.
Coming from outer space almost. It was Julius Erving. You agree?
Yeah, well, not outer space.
Well,
He's in the ABA, and he's a Long Island boy. He's a Long Island boy, Roosevelt High School.
And then it was jointly Magic and Bird who reinvented the game.
Right. Then Jordan.
And then it was Jordan.
Yeah.
And what do they all have in common? There's a certain joy, either in their play or their
LeBron.
It's LeBron.
Right.
Either and it's been for a couple of years there, even though that people are going to frown upon this. For people of a certain age, which means everybody under 30 was Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And so,
sure.
But there's a joy that transfers from either the personality or the game. Kevin Durant doesn't do that. He doesn't seem interested in it.
I'm going to use words that you won't use because you like Kevin Durant.
I do like Kevin Durant.
He's a sourpuss, and he's
not on the court.
He's a sourpuss, and he's a scold. He's an angry scold all the time. There are lots of reasons he won't be the face of the NBA. First of all, he's 30.
You usually don't get this 11 years in.
Yeah, by the time LeBron and Curry leave, he's going to be 30.
Guess what? It'll be a kid from Duke, wearing number one.
And he's a scold. And there's another reason, too, why he won't be.
Why?
Because he cherry-picked. Because he went from a good team to an already championship team. He improved them. He's a great player. But the NBA won't want to reward somebody who went from good to great on his own and left another team in the background. That's just the way it is. And he's not...
LeBron did it?
No, LeBron
went from a team he led to the finals to a better team with a Hall of Famer who already won. That's the same thing to me.
LeBron, that team was assembled. It was not already there. Bosh was added. LeBron was added. No, it's not quite the same. And the NBA, you know who's going to be the face of it? The next face of the NBA is going to be a foreign-born player. It's either going to be Antetokounmpo or it's going to be Luka Doncic.
Maybe
as the NBA tries to go global.
They want to try. They are global.
So that's where it's going to be.
You think they're going to pass up number one in Duke Blue?
No, Zion Williamson has a shot.
He got a real good shot.
Got a shot.
Depending on where he goes.
Combination
God
of
help
age
us if
and
he goes to the
personality.
Knicks. We will never get enough of that kid. He'll be on every day, 24/7.
Okay.
That'll happen.
Okay.
Remember a couple of weeks ago when it was attributed to Anthony Davis that he didn't want to be traded to Boston and sign long-term with the Celtics? Well, now there's backtracking. And it's coming straight from Davis this time, not his agent, not his father. 3 times in a media chat, Davis said, quote, "I never said Boston was not on my list," close quote. And he added, quote, "They are on my list," close quote. He went as far as to say on NBA TV that all 29 teams, all except the Pelicans, therefore, are on said list. Tony, what, if anything, does this mean for AD's future?
Well, it means that he's not talking to his dad. Because his dad stood up there and said, essentially, over my dead body is this kid going to Boston because of what they did to Isaiah Thomas.
Yes.
So that's one thing that we could say. I had also heard that while he may have said this about the Celtics, he said, everybody's out there, small market, large market, I just want to win. This is his agent, Rich Paul, doing damage control. Rich Paul tried to muscle up and get the Lakers to get Anthony Davis in a day and a half outside of New Orleans, and he failed, and this is an attempt at damage control. It's great for whatever team he lands with. And I guess almost everybody's in play. That's fine.
This is not Rich Paul. It is decidedly not Rich Paul. It's Anthony Davis.
Did he swat Rich Paul away?
You don't have to swat anybody.
Because Adam Silver made Rich Paul the villain in the piece.
There was a question about the commissioner, or is it about Anthony Davis?
Well, but I'm saying that
Anthony
you have to take
Davis
everything
got
into
tired
consideration.
of this. I told you 2 weeks ago, He was conflicted. He hated what was going on. Anthony Davis is not an outspoken, defiant kid. He doesn't have Kevin Durant's personality. Anthony Davis got a little fed up here. You don't have to hate your father or your agent. You can just say, guys, I'm going to handle this now.
That's fine.
Everybody's on my list. He already said Milwaukee earlier on. This is not Rich Paul's fingerprints. These are Anthony Davis.
Well, we're going to disagree on Rich Paul's, the effect of Rich Paul on this, because Adam Silver said, one of the things he specifically said was, we can't have people demanding trades and saying where they want to go.
That's right.
I think that Anthony Davis is a great player who improves every team except a team that doesn't want a big man to do all those things. But now I wonder, and when I say damage control, do people look at Anthony Davis and they say, well, what is his attitude going to be if he's here? What is he going to be
People
like?
People are going to look at Anthony Davis's body of work,
which is
and his
good.
attitude
Very good.
up until the last 10, 15 days and say, you know what? We've loved this kid for X number of years. That's what we think he is.
According to his lawyer, now that Colin Kaepernick has settled his lawsuit against the NFL, he, quote, absolutely still wants to play, unquote. Clearly, this is about still playing in the NFL because Kaepernick recently deliberately priced himself out of the AAF. Wilbon, do you think settling this lawsuit has changed Kaepernick's prospects?
Not in the least.
Interesting.
These are vengeful men. I told you this 2.5 years ago. You sat here and you said he's going to be back in the league. And I said, no, he's not going to be back in the league. These are vengeful people. These are, in some cases, in the culture that I happen to live in, which also shares an overlap with Colin Kaepernick, loathsome at times people in terms of their behavior toward people who look like him and who stand up for things that he and others of us believe in. No, it doesn't increase his prospects. And there might be one or two guys who just buck the line and say, you know what?
Well, that's what
I didn't feel this way before. Well, where were they?
Okay.
Where they been?
You know what? Thank you for asking, because I'm going to explain.
Okay, good.
First of all, let us make sure that people understand Kaepernick won this lawsuit.
Yeah.
He beat the NFL. They're paying him money.
Yeah.
Now, if there are one or two owners out there, if the owner at Carolina, a new owner, a fairly liberal guy, if the owner at New England, for many, many years, the most liberal guy in all of politics in sports ownership in the NFL, they might look at him differently. And here's how they are able to rationalize it. Because the lawsuit is over, they cannot hide behind saying, I don't want to anger my fellow owners while this lawsuit is going on. I don't want to do
How about
anything.
their fan bases?
Now they have an opportunity. Well, I think if an owner takes him, he has to say that, he doesn't have to, but he's okay if he says this. Colin, I just want to know, are we going to have public protests? And if Colin says, we're not, because I think that's a fair question.
I would love Colin Kaepernick now that he's been paid. If he said, no, I'm going to still protest.
Then that's fine. He can protest all he wants. And then I don't think he will be in the league. But differently than you, I think this improves.
Vengeful people. They got to give him money. They don't want to give anybody who looks like him money unless he dances, boy. They don't want to do that, Tony.
They give a lot of people who look like him money
to dance.
Who stand and don't kneel. And
whoa. No, let's go back to kneeling.
Didn't they give Eric Reed money?
They gave two people money. And Eric Reed is not the face and the presence that Colin Kaepernick is.
But Eric Reed, I would tell you, has been more outspoken than Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick is not even outspoken particularly.
That's right. And you need to know two things. Can he still play?
Yes, can he still play? Right.
And then I think it's fair to say, if we take you, because of the potential of tremendous distraction all the time with you and everybody else, how are you going to act? It's a fair question.
These questions were all out there on the table for 2 years, and
nobody
didn't sign them. And they are vengeful people. The history... The group.
Yes.
It's a vengeful group of men.
But it only
took one before.
But
where was the hand in the air?
Again, there was a lawsuit pending.
And so now they got to pay him. They have to admit their guilt publicly.
Yes, they did.
And you think they're going to get over that?
Yes.
You have a lot more faith again in those men than I do.
One or two.
One more time.
I do.
Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown update, Tony. In a Twitter Q&A session, he said Ben Roethlisberger has an owner's mentality. Wow, there's that phrase again. Meaning Big Ben faces no questions for calling out whomever he wants, including coaches. So, Tony, let's get right to it. If you're Big Ben and you've recently called Brown a friend and said you want him back on the team, are you still feeling that way after hearing this?
If Antonio Brown has just come to the position that Ben Roethlisberger is a diva, A, he hasn't been paying attention, and B, he's been working on his own diva moves, okay? Ben Roethlisberger does and says what he wants, and one of the reasons they let him do it is because I want you to count the fingers I have up. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's got 2.
Antonio Brown has
only Tom Brady of active quarterbacks has more, and only Eli Manning has as many as 2. So I would tell you Ben Roethlisberger has earned some of that. To the very specific question here, if I'm Ben Roethlisberger, I'll take him back because he can catch. He can catch, Mike. He can catch.
What? Somebody
and by the way, if I'm Ben Roethlisberger, I've made fun of half the guys on my team.
Yeah, but this is not the NBA. This is the NFL where people are replaced and it's replenished.
I know, but I thought you loved Ben Roethlisberger.
Wait.
Well, we're talking about his
I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Ben Roethlisberger says what he wants. What, Tom Brady doesn't say what he wants?
Of course he does.
He don't call out people. He calls them out on the field when they miss a block.
As does Ben.
Aaron Rodgers, he ain't called out people.
All the time.
Okay, so Ben Roethlisberger, thanks for paying attention to Antonio Brown, who's never paying attention except to Antonio Brown. Ben Roethlisberger hasn't done anything that any big-time winning quarterback hasn't done, my opinion.
That's right.
And if I'm Big Ben, and I don't think Ben Roethlisberger is as vengeful as the owners he works for in a group. I think Roethlisberger may very well take him back. I wouldn't.
He's a passer.
I would say hit the road.
He's got Juju Smith-Schuster on one side.
You already got him.
And you'd like to have another, unless you can make a trade and get somebody just as good.
You can draft somebody.
If you're Ben Roethlisberger, you're going to say, keep him. I like him.
Okay.
Let's listen to Rob Manfred, the commissioner, about the state of baseball relative to teams trying to lose, as has been widely suggested. Manfred said, quote, "This narrative that our teams are not trying is just not supported by the facts. Every single team wants to win," unquote. Wilbon, is Manfred in denial that there's no tanking?
There's no tanking. There's no tanking by the way I describe tanking. Don't tell me that sort of bottoming out briefly like the Cubs, like the Indians, like the Astros all did, and there are more, but those three come prominently to mind because they've been in World Series in the last 3 years. What is winning? Going 82 and 80 for 3 or 4 years in a row? No. What is winning? Getting the Players Association on your side because they define winning that way? The people that they're talking about, those teams really try to win big, win it all, win boldly, win with some creativity. So I don't want to hear there's tanking in baseball. There's tanking in the NBA because of the prize at the end of the rainbow immediately.
Right.
That's not baseball.
So I would say, and I think we're probably in agreement, that in football and basketball, the drafts give you a more immediate reward than they do in baseball. It's more of a crapshoot in baseball most of the time. And what you're trying to do is assemble prospects to actually trade for players. That's what your farm system is about. If you look, what this is about on the players' side is, how come nobody's giving us more money? How come we're not getting longer contracts
You
and
must
more
not
money?
be trying to win.
That's right.
You won't employ me for 10 years for $400 million.
Here are the teams that had the lowest payroll. Tampa had the lowest payroll. They won 90 games.
Yeah.
The White Sox, they were bad.
But
Oakland was third. They won 97 games. They made the playoffs. The Pirates won 82 games. They were over 500. In terms of teams spending a lot of money, the Giants spent the second most.
And they had nothing.
They 73 games. The Angels were number 7. They were below 500. The Nationals were at 500.
Correlation. So there's no reason to say it. It's wrong.
So I think we agree on that.
It's just wrong. We do agree. How about
Let's take a break, but coming up, did Tennessee get exposed in its loss to Kentucky?
And Amadou Diallo's dunk go down as 1-2. Remember, overshot.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care.
I got a list. I got some dunks.
Really?
Pardon the Interruption is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Did you know with Vanishing Deductible, you can earn $100